Today I'm sharing something really special with you, a behind the scenes look at what it's like to cruise through French Polynesia with Windstar Cruises. And if you're building your new travel agency business, this could educate you a bit on Windstar and also give you an idea and glimpse of how these types of presentations can really help you share your offers with your clients. So if you've been dreaming of Tahiti, Moorea, or Bora Bora, but not sure which cruise line really gives you the real experience of these islands, this webinar is going to answer all of your questions. I sat down with my amazing partner from Windstar Cruises who gives us the full scoop on what makes their Tahiti sailings so unique. The ship, the itinerary, the onboard vibe, it's all here. And yes, I've also got a special offer that I'm sharing only through Jill Beth Travel on a cruise next summer. So be sure to check out the details below. Let's dive in. So hi everyone. So happy you could all be here. This is so exciting. So today we are talking about Tahiti and Windstar Cruises. So thank you all for being here. And I'm Jill with Jill Beth Travel, if you don't know me already or we haven't met. And so I just wanted to give you a little bit of information first, and then I'm going to turn it over. So this cruise is for June 4th, 2026, and we have some awesome group rates, plus some additional perks lined up for those who book into the cruise, which is really awesome. So it's a 7-night cruise, it's 6 islands, and then today I have a special guest, Melissa Nessenson, Regional Sales Director from Windstar Cruises, who is here to tell us all about Windstar and about the Tahiti itinerary. And then after the call, I'll send out all the details and prices and cabins and terms so you can review it all. Now, these special group rates are in place, but the cabins are still based on availability. So be sure to let me know afterwards if you're interested in a cabin so that we can go ahead and move forward and get a deposit and get that cabin held for you. And also, I just wanted to mention that this is not a guided tour or a hosted group trip. It's really just a special opportunity to sail on Windstar and on the same cruise and receive the special group pricing with Windstar and those added perks that they've so graciously offered to us. So you'll book through me and I'll take care of everything and you'll enjoy the freedom to experience the cruise your own way. And of course, we could meet up and do things together, but I'm just saying we don't have to. So just wanted to let you know that. Okay, so I am now going to turn it over to Melissa so she can go through her presentation and tell us all about Windstar and about Tahiti.
Sounds great. Thank you, Jill. Hi, everybody. So nice to be here with you. I'm Melissa Nessenson. I reside in Southeast Florida, about halfway between Orlando and Miami on the East Coast, the beautiful Treasure Coast of Florida. I've been with the Windstar sales team now almost 9 awesome years, and I'm not just a Windstar employee. I am a Windstar fanatic because I am a Windstar Yacht Club member, and I've sailed with Windstar now 5 times. I'm hooked. And just for just my own reference, have any of you sailed with us yet? You can put that in the chat or you can wave. Has anyone been on Windstar yet? No? Does anyone want to go on Windstar? Yay! Yes, of course you do, or you wouldn't be here. Well, that's what I'm here for, to tell you a little bit about Windstar. And Anne says, not yet. Absolutely. Well, I think by the end of this presentation, you'll probably be inspired to make that reservation because it is an amazing voyage and so just unique and beautiful. And it's a place that very few North American travelers have ever been. So it's not, it's unique and it's not oversaturated with tourism. Tahiti, the islands of Tahiti, which there are hundreds of islands in Tahiti. On the 7-night cruise, we go to about 6 of them, but there's hundreds of islands, and in one year, they get less tourists, less visitors than Hawaii does in 1 month. So Hawaii gets more people in 1 month than the entire year in Tahiti. So if you don't like to be crowded and if you like serene landscapes without all the tour buses and all the other big giant ships everywhere and all the little, tacky little souvenir shops, the same stuff you can get anywhere in the world. This is the kind of destination for you where it's relaxed, it's just stunning beaches and beautiful vistas and locals that embrace you. They embrace the Windstar clientele with open arms because we don't take over their island or their village. We have less than 312 guests on board. So they're excited to host you and they're going to put the red carpet out and show you their cultures and really, learn about your cultures. And they just really interact with the guests. They just love it. They just love it because, we leave a gentler footprint. So let me go ahead and get started. And before we do, I will go ahead and just let you know I'm going to be playing a couple of videos. So if your sound is too high or too low, just adjust that on your end. And if for some reason you can't hear the audio, I apologize, but I'll send the link out to Jill afterwards. But in most cases, it should work just fine. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, there we go.
The wind and stars have guided seafarers for millennia. And now it's your turn to discover their magic on Windstar's iconic Wind class and luxurious all-suite Star Plus class yachts. Revel in the nautical traditions of the sea as white sails unfurl, pulling you towards hidden lagoons and untouched beaches on our Wind class. Or rejoice in the newly transformed Star Plus class with 277 square foot minimum suites that promise a constellation of comforts and amenities beyond your wildest dreams. No matter which yacht you choose, you'll jump directly off the water sports platform at the back of the ship and can join your captain for navigation lessons on the open bridge. Customize your experience with all-inclusive or cruise-only fares. Come, the wind and stars are waiting. Wherever you want to go, Windstar knows the way.
Does not look beautiful. So, as a brand, Windstar is known for delivering cruise vacations that are 180 degrees from ordinary, and that's what this presentation will certainly show you. What you saw in the video is we do have two different styles of yachts. We have all-suite yachts and classic sailing yachts. We hold less than 350 guests on board our ships. Our most intimate ships hold under 150 guests, so that's very intimate. So you do have the amenities of a cruise ship, but you have the vibe of a friend's private yacht, right? It's really comfortable and fun and friendly and not crowded. You're leaving those crowds behind. You're going beyond the reach of most other ships, and we can offer just a really immersive approach to travel. It's relaxed and fun and friendly and unpretentious, and just a nice, casually elegant environment. The crew are amazing, thoughtful, and just welcoming, and just they go above and beyond. And they have almost a 1-to-1 guest to crew ratio on board. So the crew are not overwhelmed, they're not overworked, they're not stressed. They live in paradise on a yacht, and they're so excited to host you in their home. And you will literally taste the essence of the cultures you're visiting, no matter where you are in the world. On Windstar, we do incorporate those local delicacies and spices and cuisines, and our chefs go ashore to source those local ingredients. So you really are going local and dining local on board. Plus, we showcase world cuisine, showcasing the various places that we do visit as well. All the meals are always included and they're always made to order, never pre-prepared or frozen like the big ships. We can do that just, as you order it, we are preparing it. And we are, I think, the only cruise line that offers a per person choice. So if you're traveling with a spouse or a friend or someone in your own room with you, you don't have to do the same. We recommend cruising all inclusive because it's the easiest and most convenient and a great value. But if you don't want the alcohol, Wi-Fi included in your cruise price, no problem. We can offer a cruise only fare per person. Each person decides. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. So unlike some of the cruise lines that advertise as a big giant resort at sea or Las Vegas at sea, or a hotel at sea. We like to feel like a home at sea, and you will feel at home, and you'll want to come back to your home at sea, and try various destinations. It is so relaxing and fun, and just a great way to travel. Lots of fun-loving moments, connecting with fellow passengers, and getting to know the crew. Our crew are perhaps the friendliest at sea. The relaxed and friendly mood on board. It just encourages everyone to connect and share stories and do excursions together and making friends, and the crew is part of that. We encourage our crew to join our guests on their days off. If they want to go on a shore excursion with the guests, absolutely go ahead and do that. If they want to do some snorkeling with the guests and whatnot, so you'll have your favorite crew members on board, and it's kind of a thrill to be able to connect with them on their time off, and they love it. They just absolutely love it. So I mentioned we do have two styles of ships, Wind class and Star class. For this presentation, we are going to talk about the Star class yachts, which are all suite motor yachts. And we go to bucket list destinations. We've been doing that now for about 40 years. And gosh, we keep finding new and unique places to visit. So we seek out UNESCO heritage sites and unique places around the world, and we develop our itineraries around those places, and we get you closer in. We can go into more shallow waterways and hug the coastlines along, islands and various beautiful places that bigger ships can't really get close to. And we're known for unique destination experiences. As I mentioned, we like to incorporate locals into our experiences, and the crew members as well. The gentleman there on the right, he's actually a big fan of Windstar. He's a tribal chief in Tahiti, and he knows exactly when the Windstar ship is coming to town because he loves to greet our passengers and offer to take some of our excursions and show them around. So it's really, really cool. So we do this in lots of different places around the world where families will literally invite our guests into their home, into their 14th century villa, onto their family winery, into their beautiful farm or their boutique resort or whatnot, and they like to host our Windstar guests and show them their cultures. So where we go, well, it's kind of easier to show you where we leave from. So I'll do just that. We are almost all over the world with some exceptions. So this, someone once said, "Oh my gosh, that's an amazing itinerary." I said, "Well, it's not an itinerary. This is just where we leave from, where you're going to fly into or fly back from." That would be a pretty cool itinerary to go all around the world on Windstar. But most of our trips are from 7 to 12 nights. We do have 13 nights and longer called Star Collectors. So if you see an itinerary you like and you want to inquire about a back-to-back voyage, Jill and her team can help you with that. So this is where you're going to leave from or fly back to. And for Tahiti, it's a little dot on the left side of the screen. I've circled it, and Papeete. That is approximately an 8-hour flight from Los Angeles. So we like to say that's only about 2 cocktails and a movie past Hawaii, right? Or maybe a few more cocktails. I drink slow. So, of course, you're not going to fly all at once to Los Angeles and then to Tahiti. You'll probably come in a day or two early and make a fun trip out of visiting that part of California. Maybe go visit the wine country, do some sightseeing and touring, and then head over. It would be a lot to go all in the same trip, I think. So come at least a day early to Los Angeles, head over to Tahiti, and we will take care of the rest. But if you see anything else on this map, regions of the world, maybe your relatives are from various places around the world, Eastern Europe, from various places around the world, Mediterranean, Asia, what have you, keep in mind we do have about 180 itineraries to offer you, so we could find you something, and in addition to Tahiti. So this is for June of 2026, but we have some really good rates available right now for 2025. So reach out to Jill and she'll tell you more about that as well. So let's chart your course to the islands of Tahiti, June 4th of next year. About a little over a year from now, you'll be setting sail on the beautiful Star Breeze and embarking on a great journey to celebrate friendship and love and adventure, and maybe even find romance in paradise if you're a solo traveler, and create memories, and you'll cherish those memories for years to come. It is like stepping out into a picture postcard. It is just, your eyes almost can't comprehend the beauty of the area. Moorea. It's just, the beautiful mild temperatures and those turquoise waters. And I mean, it's just truly spectacular. So in this image, you see the beautiful star breeze, but you also see these overwater bungalows. We do have packages available. They are optional and they are very, very limited. So reach out to Jill and she can check availability through Windstar or through independent sources if you want to do an overwater bungalow or a garden bungalow, or one of the resort stays before and after. We do offer those add-ons as well. Also, we do an overnight in Bora Bora, and if you wanted to do an overwater bungalow that evening, you are more than welcome to. That is a short excursion we offer, very limited availability, not included in the price of the cruise. Our excursions are priced everything from $70 to over $700 a person, so we don't bundle that into your upfront price. But it would be great to be able to extend your stay in Tahiti and do some additional sightseeing, and we can talk about that as well. So I have a quick video. It's narrated by our company president, Chris Prelog, who absolutely loves Tahiti. And he has a little bit of an accent, an Austrian accent. So you may want to, adjust your volume accordingly. And some of the sections, he's maybe a little bit harder to hear. But let's go ahead and get started. We won't play the whole video because I know we're crunched on time. But I think this is a really great introduction to Windstar Tahiti. Oop, if I can get it to work. Let's see here.
Windstar's roots are in French Polynesia. What makes us the expert in French Polynesia is just how immersive the experience on board our ships really is. The people, the cultures, and the warmth and friendliness which comes with it. And then you pair this with the beauty of the islands, and you've never seen as many shades of blue and turquoise in the water. You have a match made in heaven. It's paradise. Being on a small yacht in French Polynesia is just the perfect way of seeing these islands. First of all, every day you wake up in the morning, you open your curtains and you see another beautiful spot in this lovely country. On the small yachts, it's perfect because we can go into bays where the big ships just can't go. Because we've been here since 35 years, we've really deep-rooted relationships with the local population. You get to meet Tahiti when you go up the Faro River on a private boat, and he explains to you how nature and humans are interacting, and you stop and get fresh coconuts and fresh fruits, and you get to learn about how the river interacts and helps flourish everything there is. So it's really deep, immersive experiences such as this one, which are led by our local partners, which make it a unique experience.
I'll go ahead and stop it there just because it does go on a little bit longer and I have some great stuff to show you. So if any questions on that, you could always reach out to Jill and we can get a copy of that video out to you as well. So our 7-day Dreams of Tahiti round trip Papeete, 6 different islands. And on my screen, I have our little pictures blocking. Jill, on your side, can you see it okay? Because mine is blocking. I want to just make sure you can see the image of the islands okay on your end. Okay, great. I'll minimize my little picture box here. Let me just do that right now. There we go, that I can see what we're talking about. So you could see some gorgeous islands. A lot of folks dream of the South Pacific and they only think, oh, I got to get to Bora Bora. But if you're going to go that far, one island would not be enough, right? You want to see the most. And the best way, and really the only way to see these many islands in 7 days would be by yacht. Most of these islands don't have an airport and the big ships don't go to a majority of these, or at least they don't get real close in. And we spend spend more time ashore. If there's a lot to do and see on the little island, we're going to stay late night, or in some places around the world, there's a lot of nightlife and we'll stay overnight. There's not a lot of nightlife in Tahiti. However, we do have a couple fun evenings planned for you, and I'll tell you about that. But if you go to places like the Mediterranean, and there's nightclubs and waterfront festivals, and a lot to do and see late night, big casinos and stuff, we'll usually stay late night or overnight. But in Tahiti, there's probably more people getting up early to watch the sunrise and do yoga and do some water sports, than wanting to stay out all night at a casino. It's just not that type of trip. This is really about, enjoying the beauty and the history and these golden beaches and emerald islands, and just absolutely beautiful way of seeing the world. So, six different islands, and we have those optional pre and post hotel stays, some featuring overwater and garden bungalows. Those garden bungalows are nice too because they have your own private splash pool. That's limited availability. So here is the itinerary that we have planned for you for June of next year. Leaving Papeete typically on a Thursday, which is great because that's also a day that they have the afternoon and early evening food trucks by the port. So a lot of folks like to go and check that out. So we decided to leave on Thursdays because they said it's a popular day at the port. So, and then you'll head to Moorea. Moorea is a very close island. So, we're just going to take our time and just kind of hug the coastline and go over to Moorea, and we'll get there first thing in the morning, so it doesn't require a lot of travel time. And we'll be there all day. They'll be there till 5 at night. We'll be at anchor, so there'll be a tender. We have a really nice tender loading platform. It's very secure. You'll have no issues getting on and off. If you do use a mobility device or a walker or a wheelchair or anything like that, please be sure to reach out to Jill Beth so we can just make sure we can qualify you and your guests' mobility needs. There is an elevator on board, but to get on and off the ship, there's no elevator to get you on the ship. You do have to usually walk up and down some steps, unfortunately. So we'll do water sports that day. Our water sports marina will be open. I have some images of that to show you, complimentary water sports. And then we'll have a beautiful sunset cruise as we head towards Raiatea. And as I mentioned, if there's a lot to do and see, we don't want you to feel rushed. We're going to be there all day, or in some cases overnight. So that is the case in Raiatea. Beautiful place. We'll be there all day until the early morning next day. So there is no rush, and there's a lot to do, a lot of excursions and fun things to do. In Tahaa, a little tiny moto. A moto is smaller than an island and smaller than an islet. It's called a motu. We do have a fun beach party planned that day on the motu, and there's drift snorkeling. A lot of folks like that. The currents are just right for something called drift snorkeling, where you're just drifting on the surface of the water. It's so serene. And there are nature walks and other things in addition to the beach barbecue. And then we head to Bora Bora, a place so beautiful it was named twice, Bora Bora. And we'll be there not only overnight, but all day the next day. Because as I mentioned, if there's a lot to do and see, we want to make sure you can get it all done and have lots of options, and do what you like. So we'll have that special festival that night, and I'll show you about that. And then into Huahine, also an anchor port. Anytime you see the check mark, it's an anchor port. If there's no check mark, then we're going to dock right there in the village, and you'll just step right off and be right there. Huahine, we'll have water sports there. We'll have our tenders going ashore 7 a.m. till about 5 in the evening. And then the fun continues as you head back towards Papeete, and maybe you want to extend your stay. There are some post-cruise tours that Jill can take a look at for you. Those are optional and based on availability. So we won't get into all the little details, but I did want to kind of give you an overview, and just to let you know that what makes Windstar unique in Polynesia. We do have a French Polynesian cultural ambassador that is part of our Windstar team, and they do live on board with us, and they do all kinds of great workshops and lectures and interactive things, and lots of fun little parties and get-togethers and meetups, and all promoting Polynesian culture and way of life. You'll see on this itinerary in places like Huahine and other places as well, beautiful underwater landscapes and gorgeous lagoons. We've got snorkeling tours and diving tours. And it's more than just water sports, though. There's great history in these islands. There's great religious temples, dating back for centuries. There's beautiful little villages that they don't get a lot of tourists, so they're so excited to showcase their wares and to, show you around. There's e-biking tours and traditional biking tours. There's, kayaking trips. There's lots of historical sites to see. And perhaps you might want to snorkel down to select your own black pearl in Raiatea. They're known for that. That's an optional excursion. And if you wanted to extend your stay, we do, as I mentioned, have some overnights available before or after the cruise or in Bora Bora. And definitely go to all of our, fun events because they are great. They're complimentary. The best beach party in the world, lots of great entertainment, and they'll showcase the cultures. And then also in Bora Bora, the overnight where we have our destination discovery event. We do this in various places, not only in French Polynesia, but in Iceland. We do a Icelandic rock and roll concert in the Little Blue Church of Iceland. We do an ancient Ephesus on our Greek Isles tours, a private event under the stars in the ruins of ancient Ephesus, just absolutely private and just as wonderful as can be. So you have a lot of surprise and delight moments on Windstar. I'm not going to tell you about all of them because we want you to be surprised and delighted. But that onboard barbecue is more than just a barbecue. It is a gala. It is a tribute to not only Polynesian culinary, but world cuisine. And when was the last time you saw a captain grilling lobsters out on deck or a hotel general manager, pouring drinks? And, our crew that don't normally work food services, they love to get involved and party and have fun with you. So I know you'll enjoy it. And then we have a water sports on those various days. That's complimentary. You'll have your own custom fit snorkel mask and gear you can use. Get right out there and have a good time. There's shore excursions as well. Those are optional. Small groups, private shore excursions, different price points for and all different activity levels. They're hand curated. We go into some of these little islands that they're not really touristy, so you may not have any other organized tours to choose from. So always look and see what Windstar's offering. Always book those early. And if you decide to do your own thing, as long as we know before the before the cruise departs, usually by the day before embarkation, you could always change your excursion to something else or get a refund on your excursion if you decide not to. So you don't have to worry about a thing about booking those excursions this far out, because if you see a different excursion you want to do instead, you're not gonna lose anything on the cost of that excursion. We're very flexible as far as that goes. But numerous activities, different preferences. You can, query those by, your interests, and then by your own activity level. If it says strenuous, trust it. I didn't trust it. I didn't realize how strenuous some of these could be. So if you're, so keep that in mind. I chose to do a excursion in Iceland where we were hiking up a lava field. And I thought, well, it's a field, it'll be flat. It was not, it was a mountain. It was a mountain. And I got halfway up and said, I'm heading back down that mountain. So if it says strenuous, keep that in mind. But I just didn't have the right footwear. I live in Florida, and I used to live in Chicago. I'm from Chicago, and I had my Uggs, which are not don't they're good for snow, but they're not good for lava fields for gravel. So just wear the right footwear. There's going to be all kinds of tips and all kinds of FYIs when you book our excursions if there's something you need to know. But a lot of these are easy to moderate or moderate strenuous. There'll be something for everyone. So Lorana, as we say, hello to the Star Breeze. That's your home away from home, and in the French Polynesia. And I'm sorry, these slides, they're kind of hard to read. I think the font, somehow something went funny, but normally that's in white. But so it's a 312 passenger all suite yacht. We do have a beautiful all kinds of beautiful rooms that include a walk-in closet, a small living room area. Everyone gets a view. There's no interior staterooms. There's porthole windows, picture windows, French balconies, and then some of the premium suites have full-size balconies. But I want to just let you know and remind you, this is not the kind of cruise where you're going to want to be hibernating on a balcony because you're trying to get away from the crowds and the noise and the kids and all the hoopla. No, no, not at all. You want to be out on deck sharing bottles of wine with your new friends, interacting with the crew, having a great time, soaking in the hot tub, listening to music. You're going to be out there. So, whether or not you feel like you need a balcony, that's up to you. But we have very few full-size balconies. But you have extra large suites, which is even nicer. Where you'll have a true taste of Tahiti on board. So I won't give you away all the surprises, but there'll definitely be a lot of Tahitian flair on board, and you really will love the workshops and the dance lessons and the port talks and the Polynesian music on your TV and your on your in-room entertainment system, and cheerful Polynesian music in the public areas, and the crew are going to have very stylish Tahitian style uniforms, and there's you even have a very comfortable Polynesian themed bathrobe in your suite so that if you're going to the spa or relaxing at the pool, you can use that as well. And so lots of great ways to enjoy Tahiti on board the ship. We bring the dance troops on board and you'll love it. So I just want to give you just an example of what the rooms look like because isn't that gorgeous? So we have some rooms that have portholes, some have picture windows, as I mentioned, some have French balconies, for instance. This is an entry level category. Actually, one category lower would have the two portholes, and this is one category up, which has a picture window. So absolutely beautiful. And there's a choice between the bed by the window or the living room area by the window. I think it's all great. And we have brand new bathrooms in all of the suites. Isn't that nice? Very spacious. Some suites have a bathtub, so if you prefer a bathtub, you can ask, but it's very limited. Most of them have just the walk-in shower, but they all have the double sink vanity. We have some special rooms that may or may not still be available. Our owner of Windstar is one of our longtime past guests, and he owns some resorts such as the Broadmoor in Colorado and the Sea Island Resort in Georgia. So we do have some extra large suites, one bedroom suites that uh, pay tribute to our sister properties in Colorado and in Georgia, the Sea Island Suite. Very beautiful. We also, if you're going to be traveling with a few friends, you might want to share a grand owner suite, 3 bedroom, 3.5 bath, if available, full size balcony, living room area, and they do have some special perks as well. All of our ships have the yacht club, which is kind of like an upscale Starbucks meets Panera, but there's no cost. So you can get your macchiatos, cappuccinos, espressos, snacks, salads, everything you want all day long until about 9 o'clock at night. And this is a great gathering place to meet friends for cocktails or coffee. A lot of people will be there relaxing, reading a book. We've got a nice selection of books and newspapers and puzzles and all kinds of nice stuff. So it's a really relaxing experience. All of our ships have amphora as your main restaurant. There's no reservations required. It's 5-star dining. It's white glove service without those white gloves because the crew is just really friendly and laid back and welcoming. So they're not, it's not going to be stuffy, but it will absolutely be 5-star gourmet and no pesky bill at the end because all the meals are included. We are the official cruise line of the James Beard Foundation. If you live near any major city, New York, Chicago, LA, Miami, Orlando, Atlanta, you probably are familiar with the James Beard Awards. All the top chefs in North America really are, I can honestly say probably all of them are members of the James Beard. It's all the top chefs you see on TV, the cooking shows and stuff, they are part of the James Beard Foundation, and we're the only cruise line officially endorsed and recommended by that group of top chefs. I think that's amazing. So we've been their partner for 10 years. All the meals are made to order, beautiful culinary delights that would cost a fortune on land at a restaurant. In addition to amphora, we have candles, which is our reservations required supper club, but you won't be charged anything extra to dine there. We just make reservations to make sure you all have a chance to dine there at least once during your visit. Fresh grilled steaks and chops and all kinds of great seafood and under the stars with a protective cover, so if in case it's windy that night, you won't be too windblown. But beautiful candles and great ambiance. Bring your dancing shoes, everybody, because Compass Rose is where the action happens after dinner. There's usually some sort of performance or some sort of event. And then we all head over to Compass Rose for dancing. That goes on till about 11:30 at night, and we have some great, themed shows. So there's a great band, and one night they might have a, classic, like a Motown classic night, or they might have a, country night or a rock and roll night or an 80s night, or sometimes it's just, more just, relaxing, slow dancing music and whatnot. So they have different themes for different nights, and it's just all fun. Wellness is a big thing on Windstar. Lots of yoga classes, lots of fitness classes. Those are included. No charge to use the gym. We have all new fitness equipment. The facilities, are great. The World Spa does have lots of menus that you could choose from, lots of menu items, massage and beauty shop and hair and nails, acupuncture and whatnot. Those do cost extra, and you'll make reservations on the yacht. There'll be a tour of the gym and the fitness area and the spa facilities when you get on board, and there's no cost to come on in and use the relaxation areas, the steam baths, saunas, things like that. No cost to use any of that. And maybe you just want to be on deck and relax in style on your yacht. Sounds great to me. The crew are very friendly and informative. So if you have any questions while you're on board, they're very approachable. As is the captain. Come on into the bridge. There's an open door till about 10:30 at night when we're out at sea. So when was the last time you were able to just open the door to the bridge and walk in and say, "Hi, Captain, can you show me the radar? What's on the maps? Let's do a selfie." Can we go stargazing? That's my favorite, to go in the evening when it's a clear night. They love to go out there and take you stargazing and point out the different constellations. So again, this feels more like you're on a friend's private yacht. And so forget what you think and know about cruising. This is Windstar. It's really a yacht style experience, 180 degrees from ordinary. Dancing under the stars is a lot of fun. We do have a pop-up disco party in the evenings. That's a lot of fun. And for those that are you're celebrating romance, we do vow renewals and vow exchanges on board. That does have to be prearranged. You can let Jill and her team know. There is a small fee for that, but what a beautiful thing to do, or even surprise your spouse on board and have that celebration on the yacht or on the beach. We can arrange that. And speaking of love, did you watch The Golden Bachelorette this year? If you want to see the Star Breeze, Windstar Star Breeze, and check out some of the experiences we offer in Tahiti, then if you have Hulu or one of those streaming services, you can check out the last three episodes of The Golden Bachelorette, which was filmed on board. So that was kind of exciting. So I'm going to pause here and see if there's any questions. I'm going to come and back on and turn my camera back on. So we talked about June of next year. Of course, that date, may or may not work for you. Jill and her team can talk about, various dates that we have available, but there's something really special about being in a group and knowing you have, friends on, and you're just gonna make friends in the group. And if you're a solo traveler, also you'll have folks that you'll immediately you can connect with. And it's just, I like groups. Of my five Windstar cruises, they were all groups. I have not sailed on Windstar as just like myself and a spouse. It's always been in a group, and I love it. And we still have our private Facebook groups from all our different sailings that we still connect. And beforehand, it's always fun to share tips and information, and post pictures of the trip. And so I enjoy group travel. And I like what Jill said, that this is not like an organized tour where you have to be here at a certain time, or you got to meet there, or you got to stay in a group. Or I hate that. I'm just not that kind of group traveler. But I like the camaraderie of having people on board that I can have fun with and share the experience with. So Jill, are there any questions that you know of? One of the questions that always comes up is what's included. So that's usually the first one. Does anyone want to talk a little bit
That's
about that?
that's exactly what I was going to ask you. I
I'm a
was
mind
just
reader.
going to ask you if you would touch on that and talk about the beverage package and Wi-Fi and things, just to make it super
Absolutely.
clear.
Yes. So instead of telling you everything that's included, I kind of had some pictures here so you can kind of get the idea. The basically all your necessities on board are going to be covered. And if you enjoy alcohol and you like to, have an all-inclusive alcohol package, we have that also. That's not included in the cruise only fare, but I think it makes sense if you're going to have like more than 4 or 5 drinks a day, which who knows? You're on vacation. You might want to start with a mimosa, Bloody Mary, and work your way throughout the day. Why not? We do have that. But bar service is available. It's not going to break the bank. It's not overpriced like some of these, resorts and hotels, luxury hotels. So if you don't want to get a drink package, we have bar service and you just sign for it. And at the end of the trip, you'll take care of your onboard account. But all your meals are included. All your 24-hour room service is included. I mentioned using the gym and the spa equipment and the relaxation areas, sodas and bottled waters and cappuccinos and espressos and macchiatos and smoothies and fresh drinks, fresh squeezed orange juices, all that. Don't worry about it. It's already taken care of. We have one, really probably the best water filtration system at sea. We put a new filtration system on. It's great. We have our own like kind of reverse osmosis system. I'm not sure the technical word, but you will have in-room filtered water carafes. And when you go ashore, there are some reusable bottles that you can fill up and take with you, or they'll be pre-filled in your room, so you could take those ashore. Just remember to bring those back with you. It's delicious water also. That's where I spend money on vacation. I'm always buying bottled water, and it's like such a pain because I don't like to drink, tap water. And it was so nice to have that in my room for when I wanted it and to go ashore with it as well. So, kind of easier to tell you what's not included. How about that?
Mhm.
So you can go all inclusive or not. So if you want to be all inclusive, that's your, everything I just showed you, plus alcohol, Wi-Fi, and tips. Pretty easy. So
Mhm.
I personally think most travelers these days appreciate an all-inclusive experience. They appreciate the value because if you were going to go a la carte and order your drinks a la carte, you're probably spending a little bit more than this package, or maybe not, but I think it makes sense. But definitely the price being $99 a day per person is the difference between a cruise only fare and an all-inclusive fare. That makes sense to me. So you can decide, but I recommend deciding before you take the cruise, having Jill add that to your reservation, because if you do that on the ship, if you say, you know what, I decided to go with the all-inclusive, can I upgrade? It's going to cost a lot more than 99 a day a person. So please keep that in mind. So I'm not sure if there's any questions, but we can check the chat afterwards. So
Um,
$99 per person will also include alcohol, Wi-Fi tips.
Well, I'm really happy that you mentioned the water because I don't know, being in Colorado, I drink water. I drink so much water, and I know some of us here on the call are from Colorado, and just, or even if you're not from Colorado, you're health focused, and it's just, I'm the same way with spending money on water in hotel rooms, and I love when hotel rooms have the refillable bottles. It's like the first thing
I do
I
too.
notice when I get in, so I'm glad you mentioned
Oh,
that.
yes. It's important to me to be able to stay hydrated, especially at sea with the salty air and stuff. So I'm drinking a lot of water on the board the yacht, and I don't feel like I want to go and have to spend money for something that's a necessity. So basically, all your necessities on the yacht would be included. And then if you want to treat yourself to an all-inclusive experience, which I appreciate, then you want to just go with the all-inclusive fare. It's not a big difference in cost. A lot of folks will ask, well, who's on board? What can I expect? What kind of folks are we gonna, be able to interact with and network with? They're gonna be like-minded guests. They value comfort without pretense. They like, relaxed, casually elegant experiences, things that feel personal. They don't want a cookie cutter mass-produced experience. That's why they're not on a ship of 6,000 guests, right? And they really just want to connect with the crew and, just have a good time. A lot of our folks are still in the professional workforce. So it's not all retirees. We get that question a lot. Is it going to be all retirees? Well, there'll be a good number of retirees, of course. But we do have, who we market to today would be about age 45 and up.
Okay.
So, a lot of folks are still in the workforce, a lot of doctors, lawyers, business owners, folks. We also get some celebrities on board, but they like Windstar because it's low key and they don't feel, uncomfortable. Um, you know, I I love it when I go online and my friends send me stuff and go, "Oh my gosh, look who was just on." There's a lot of, public figures and folks that come on because they can, be laid back and then people aren't hassling them. It's just a nice, friendly yacht style experience. You never know who you're going to see on board.
Mhm.
But there are folks that really want to see the world like a traveler, not like a tourist. There are folks that, just like the finer things in life. There are folks that are very active and adventurous, so we do have those type of excursions also. Snorkeling with the whale sharks and ATV rides and zip lining through a jungle and kayaking in a lagoon, stuff like that. But then we have our sailing sophisticates who are really just there for that 5-star experience and the beautiful suite experience and those hand curated shore excursions and stuff like that. And a lot of our folks that travel are we call them cruising parents. They're probably empty nesters. They don't always bring the kids on their luxury vacation. They want the option of multi-generational travel because let's face it, there's a lot of families who are well traveled and the kids like this type of experience. So we do allow children age 8 and above. We just don't get a lot of them. So keep that in mind. But if you want to put together a family group, yeah, reach out to Jill. We can help you with that. We have some triples where we can accommodate a third guest in the room. So what makes us 180 degrees from ordinary? Well, I think, you kind of get the idea. Just to recap, it's a yacht style experience. We can access smaller ports, give you a really unique onboard experience, very friendly and fun, exceptional cuisine, very personalized experience, and diverse destinations. And having two different styles of ships are great. Yacht style cruising, with or without masts. I didn't really show you too many pictures of our wind class yachts because they're not in Tahiti, but we do also have yachts that have sails and they're not sailboats because they have stabilizers and an engine. But when we're at sea, we can put those sails up. So right now we have one of those in Greece, one of those ships in Greece. One usually goes to the Caribbean. So Jill can help you if you want to do a sailing yacht. Also, she can talk to you a little bit more about that. And don't miss the crew talent show. I wanted to leave you with that because it makes me smile every time. The crew works so hard all week long. You'll hear them, they're folding laundry and they're practicing their songs or practicing their lines or practicing their dance routine, when they're on their break and stuff. And this is my favorite is the synchronized swimming bit they do on all of the crew talent show. And it is hilarious. So you're going to cheer for your favorite crew members. And a lot of them are kind of nervous because they're not entertainers, but they love to show you guys a great time. So we can't wait to welcome you aboard. Of course, it's a small ship, 312 guests for the Tahiti ship. Space is limited. You'll want to reach out to Jill. We only require a 15% deposit. So Jill, you may have some of your own, requirements, but we only require a 15% deposit. So, it's not much to hold the room. And then you can start putting your shore excursions on hold too, because those are going to sell out fast. So we can't wait to welcome you. And this is a picture from our beach party. I think it speaks volumes. Look at those great smiles. So Jill's going to help you with pricing and what's available and things like that. And if you have any friends that are repeat cruisers of Windstar, they've been on Windstar and you're new to Windstar, make sure you mention that to Jill. We do currently have a referral program. So if you have friends that have sailed on Windstar, then you can mention their name to Jill. And Windstar does have a extra shipboard credit for you on top of any shipboard credit that Jill may be offering in her group. So Jill, do we have time for any additional questions?
Yeah, I think so. And Anne popped in a question about Wi-Fi. Like, can you purchase the Wi-Fi just separately, just the Wi-Fi?
Yes. Yes, we do have the Starlink system, which works very, very well. Yes, you can do that. Jill can add that to your reservation and absolutely. But you want to calculate the tips and the Wi-Fi, and sometimes it's not much difference than what you could get for the all-inclusive. So just before you decide, just check the price because who knows, you might want to go all in. But if not, yes, you could definitely do just the Wi-Fi and then add the tips on, or take care of the tips after the cruise. So yes, we do offer that as well.
Okay. And then another question from Anne, who's very savvy in the travel industry, so asking the good questions here. When is the final payment due and is the deposit refundable? So I believe final payment is due 90 days prior to sailing. And
Yes.
right? And the deposit is refundable, I think, except for a $50
Yes.
portion
Yeah, there's
at
no risk.
20 days, I think. I
So when
can
you
send
book
it.
now,
I'll send, I'll just, so you know,
yeah.
and everybody, I'll send
Yes.
all of this after this
Mhm.
call, all the
Yeah. So
specifics.
yes, depending on the category, so that 15% is going to be based on whatever your own cruise fare is, because depending on the category you select, the 15% could vary for, for different categories. But it's just a 15% deposit, nothing else due. A lot of our clients, they don't mind just, paying it off at once. It's completely up to you when it require it. But the minimum deposit would be 15%. If you do have to cancel for some reason, we're first going to offer you, would you like to look at another sailing? And perhaps we might be able to move you to a different sailing date. We could check the rates of that sailing date. So, I know you'd be super disappointed. So the goal would be, to try to find you something else that works better with your schedule. But there is a $50 service fee per person. Nothing huge, but I assure you, if you wait and you don't book, you probably won't get on, or the group rate will sell out, and then you'll be spending a lot more. Unfortunately, if so we get kids that are like, I don't care that the group is sold out. I'm going. I want my friends are on there. What is it going to cost? They're like, oof. Okay,
Mhm.
well, I'll do it. But, gosh, I should have booked it when the group was offering, these deposits, and it makes sense. So I
Yeah.
assure you, by booking early, you'll save a lot more than 50 per person. So there's a lot more savings than risk, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The
And I
closer you
checked
get to a cruise,
availability.
the more the penalty would be, though. So
I
trip
checked
insurance, trip
availability
insurance,
right
trip
before this
insurance.
call or this week, and there's a lot booked for this cruise already.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Windstar has the number one small ship experience in Tahiti, and actually, globally, we're constantly named best small ship cruise line, best boutique cruise line, USA Today, Reader's Choice, Condé Nast Magazine. So many of them, because there's not a lot of cruise lines with ships that hold less than 500 guests. So there's a lot of demand for this type of cruising, especially as folks are getting a little bit older, their kids are older, they don't want to do the big mega ships anymore because they don't need all that. They want to do something more intimate. So yes, this kind of sells itself. Um, it is priced to sell as well, and there's not a lot of other options in Tahiti, to do this type of thing. So yeah, absolutely. So again, trip insurance is really smart
Mhm.
because if most people if people have to cancel, it's usually not that far out. It's usually close in, like
Mhm.
last minute, because God forbid something happens and they just can't go for medical reasons, or
Yeah.
family medical, or whatnot, or there's, God forbid, bad weather and their flight gets canceled and they just can't get there, or who knows what. So I wouldn't worry so much about losing the 50 per person. I would be more concerned about, the what ifs and protecting yourself while you're out of the country in case you did have to fly home for any unexpected medical situation. So Jill can add in the price of trip insurance through Windstar, or she may have her own resources. But I've been in this industry a long time. I've personally had to use it more times than I needed to, and I've had a lot of, stories over the years where folks are like, gee, that's not the place where I should have tried to save money on my vacation. I should
Yeah.
have, you know, bought a few less souvenirs and budgeted more for trip insurance, because you never know if you're going to need it. But let's think positive. I'm sure everything's going to be great. But the ship can sell out, so that is always a depressing thing to have to tell somebody. Yes, this far in advance. We could get a large, group, a family group or what have you, and they can, and all the inventory might be gone except for maybe a grand owner suite. So if that if you really want to go, hey, twist your arm, right? I could enjoy that grand owner suite, but really realistically, you probably want to, secure the category in your price range before
So I have a
before
question from Susan. So she's thinking of bringing her 18-year-old son on the trip and is curious for the all-inclusive, what is the drinking age on board?
The drinking age on Windstar, because we're a U.S. company, is going to be 21 and up. Now, that may be more lenient ashore, and I don't know exactly, but on the ship, it is 21 and up. So we don't force both people on the reservations to do the same thing. Other cruise lines, if you're with a minor, you cannot buy the all-inclusive fare because the minor, is not going to be drinking alcohol. So on Windstar, each person has a choice. So if you want to go all-inclusive and he wants to do just the Wi-Fi and the tips, that's absolutely fine. Or no Wi-Fi, but I know that age group, they probably want the Wi-Fi.
Okay, so you're
But
saying, so So 21 is the drinking age because you're based in the US. But you're saying that outside, like on when we're on islands, it could be different. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, all countries have their own rules and restrictions,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
some
Okay.
places around the world are a little more
Yeah.
lenient than we are here in the States. I don't know exactly, but you know, you're
Okay.
going into little islands and stuff like that, and you want to check that accordingly. But I know on the ship it is 21 and up, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, for that age group, gosh, you'd be so lucky to do a yacht. Can you imagine? I'd love to do a yacht when I was 18. Wow, that's bragging rights right there. As the kids say, that's Instagram worthy or, you know, Facebook worthy. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think he'd have a great time with the water sports, different type of foods, and it's very friendly and it's really an active environment. It's more of a just a fun, friendly, active vibe rather than just a particular age group. But yeah, there usually are some young adults on board as well. We just don't get a lot of little kids. So
Mhm.
what
Um,
other questions can I answer?
so what's the weather like that time of year?
Mhm. Tahiti is paradise year round. There's no
I thought you were going
hurricane
to say.
season. Yeah, there's no hurricane season. That's why we're there year round, where we're not in the Caribbean year round at all.
Mhm.
We're only in the Caribbean seasonal. So if you also want to get to the Caribbean, which we have some last minute sailings for 2025 available, those are from San Juan, St. Thomas, then we leave from Aruba, we leave from Barbados, and only seasonally. But we're very rarely affected by weather in Tahiti. So it's going to be beach weather. It's going to be beautiful. They do get some sun showers in January and February, but that's nothing to really worry about. You guys are going in June. And should be great. You never know if there's going to be a chance of rain, but the captains do a nice job watching the radar to try to steer clear of those sun showers wherever they can.
Mhm.
So yeah, it should be lovely
Okay.
beach weather.
Well, Melissa, this was so great. Thank you so much for this presentation. I learned a few things and I thought I did my research on Windstar, and
Mhm.
you taught me a couple things too. So it's super exciting. And if I get any more questions, I will contact you right away. And
Absolutely.
I'll send out, I have a page on my website with all of this information and then also like a little intake form if you're interested. So I'll send all that out after the call. And yeah, I hope you all come because when I was the last time I was in Tahiti, I was in Bora Bora, and I distinctly remember being on a jet ski tour, which was like the most amazing thing ever. And I was on the jet ski and I saw the Windstar boat ship cruise. And
Oh
I was
wow.
like, that is the way to do it. That is the way to do it because then you see more islands and all your food's included. You don't have to think about, how much you're getting charged for. I don't know. Sometimes I think about that when there's resort prices at
Oh
luxury
yeah.
hotels. So, I don't know. I just looked over and I was like, I want to do that. And I don't know when yet, but I'm doing that. And now I want to bring all my friends. So,
Wonderful. Well, that sounds
so
really great. So
yeah,
everyone on this call, you should tell two couples and they'll tell two couples and so on and so forth. And why
exactly.
not? That's so much fun and it just makes the trip so much better to be able to share the experience with folks and reminisce with them about the week and how great it's been. And then they're going to say, Jill, what's the next one? Where are we going next on Windstar? Maybe the
Yeah,
next one we do one of the beautiful sailing yachts,
yeah,
the
you had
four
me thinking.
massive sailing yachts. Yeah.
You had
Well,
me.
now's the time because if you also want to think of something for 2027, we just announced some new deployment. So you guys
Oh
can
my
have your
God.
26 cruise on hold and then lock in, like basically getting 2025 rates for a 2026 and 2027 group. That's the way to do it because the rates are going to keep escalating as inventory goes down, rates go up. So that's how those folks you see your friends on Facebook and stuff that are traveling on cruises all the time. That's because their travel advisor gets them on a group, like 2 years in advance, a year, 2 years in advance. And you're like, how can they be going all the time? Because they're paying a lot less than everybody else.
Right,
And they're getting
right.
perks, shipboard credits and things like that. So that's how they're doing it. So yeah, get with Jill. Put your
Awesome.
deposit for this one. Take a look at what's going on. This is only June of this year, so you might have some vacation time available to you the rest of this year. We've got some awesome. My favorite last year was winter in the Med. People don't think of the Med in the quote unquote off season, but the Europeans go year round to the Med, and that's because it's not crowded, it's not as hot, and so if you want to do something right now, Thanksgiving time, Christmas time, Hanukkah, New Year's, Valentine's Day, whatever, we have space for 2025 and early 26 in the Mediterranean. It is delightful. It's beautiful.
Amazing.
So get those wheels turning and let Jill know, and she'll customize that experience for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Melissa, and thanks everybody for joining. And watch for my email afterwards. Let me know your
Thanks,
questions. And I hope
everyone.
you
Jill,
try it
you're an
out.
awesome hostess. I could see where you'd be a lot of fun to travel with.
Oh, you're sweet. Oh, all right. Well, thanks everybody.
Thank you. Have a great
Bye.
night. Bye-bye.
Okay, how dreamy does that look? So if you're now thinking, okay, I need to be in that gorgeous destination, I've got you. I'm helping clients plan these trips right now, and I'd love to help you too. So this special offer is for June 2026, and it's really the perfect amount of time from right now to plan, prep, and get excited. So to get all the details and to access my exclusive offer, just head to the Tahiti cruise page that's linked below this video. Fill out the quick form, and I'll be in touch with next steps. Can't wait to help you make this dream happen. Thanks for watching.